everyone! It's Lauren coming at you today with our annual Lauren Talks. And this is about everyone's least favorite thing, school. hence the kind of sarcasm. If it wasn't, just tell me. So school, it's basically I'm going to give you tips and advice on how to survive school, and I'm going to include some of my own semi-horror stories and some, good things about it. And a big cue, if you could pick one subject in school, what subject would that be? And so we'll go ahead and get into the survival guide. So it's Lauren's Guide to Surviving School. So basically the first thing is, you have to get up and fall asleep at a certain time. For example, you can go to sleep at 10 and wake up at 5:30 or 6, depending on what time you go to school. When I was in elementary school, it was usually about maybe 8:30. Then middle school was 7:30, and then high school was 6:30, which was the absolute worst because I am not a morning person at any means necessary. But, just get up and have everything. Usually what I would do the night before is that usually I can't go without washing my face or brushing my teeth in the morning, so I would have everything laid out the night before, so that way I wouldn't have to do it when I got up in the morning. So I would definitely lay out your skincare if you have a skincare routine you religiously follow by. And also, make your lunch the night before. That's like the best thing ever. That way you don't have to stress about it in the morning, which is always a good thing. Usually, some meals I would always take salads because I wasn't a big fan of cafeteria food. So, and my mom being a lunch lady surprisingly doesn't find offense to that. So, but some ideas you could do if, you could do chicken salad, you could do turkey wraps, there's many different lunches you can choose from. It's to whatever you choose to eat. I personally like salads for lunch. So, and always have friends that keep you happy and stuff like that, always. And also a thing I would do, even when I was out of school, and when I went to my old volunteer program, and I would lay out my outfits the night before, and I would label all my outfits out for the week. That's how OCD I can get sometimes. I would lay out my outfits the night before, and then, have your backpack ready to go. Don't ever forget your homework. But I was always good. I never forgot my homework. And always have your bag packed the night before, your backpack or your messenger bag or whatever you choose to carry. I'm not a big fan of backpacks. So, because I just don't like anything draping on my back. I prefer messenger bags because they're just lightweight and they're not as heavy. So, and also in the morning, please eat breakfast. There are plenty of days where I was in school, plenty of days when I was in high school, I would forget to eat. And that's not a good thing, not forget to eat. You need to eat in the morning. It's essential to get your metabolism up. And, but usually they say now you don't really have to eat breakfast, but, I can't go without eating. Usually I don't prefer to eat in the morning. I don't have much of an appetite when I wake up in the morning to eat breakfast. So I usually like to make a smoothie, and I have so many I prefer green smoothies. But if you want to make something quick and easy and you can grab it out the door, you can make a open-faced peanut butter banana sandwich, chop it with some chia seeds and a little bit of honey and cinnamon on top. I think that sounds really good. If you don't have to add the chia seeds, I promise you, just for the omega-3s. And use your whole grain bread, as it's going to keep your blood sugar at a stable level, which is important because we don't want to be sleeping in class. That's not fun to sleep in class. I've never done that, thank goodness. So I have some semi-horror stories. Well, not particularly a lot, but I've had a couple. My high school graduation was probably not my favorite graduation. So the day we go to my graduation, it was raining. And then also it decided to start hailing outside. It sounded like rocks on top of my mom's car. It was not fun. And then I was almost late to my graduation. I had to sit next to someone I didn't particularly care for. And someone had the same pair of shoes as me. And someone, the people that, have to put your place in line or whatever at your graduation, they messed mine up like twice. It was like the worst feeling like ever. And then I remember in high school I read Shakespeare, and I am a big fan of Shakespeare. So my freshman year, in my English class, I portrayed Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, and if you're familiar with that particular play, she gets killed off in the play because she poisons herself. And yeah, so I get killed. My character gets killed off in that. Then I played Brutus in Julius Caesar my sophomore year of high school, and my character got killed off in that too. If you're familiar with Julius Caesar, you know how Brutus gets killed. I don't know how he gets killed in that, but some positive things about school. I met my best friend in high school. She knows who she is. I met my best friend there my sophomore year of high school. The best friend ever. I will have to agree, she is one of my friends that really saved my life. So, especially when I didn't make friends very easily, she was the one that kind of saved me from the crazy world that we live in. And I also, in high school, I took photography, which I did not take a lot of pictures because we had the dark room in my photography class, and I didn't know how to, do my pictures and stuff. If you are more familiar with, I'm not as familiar with photography. My sister's good at it with her camera, so is my cousin. So, but if you've got some creativity, I definitely take that as a class. It was a very fun class. I enjoyed it. I even learned how to use Photoshop. So, I'm not an expert, but I learned how to use Photoshop. And I did make a lot of friends throughout school. I made a few. Some of them I keep in touch with. I met a person that was obsessed with Glee like I was. And I still keep in touch with her on Facebook. And she's nice. And then also my senior year English class, I liked being a secondhand helper to the kids. If they needed help with anything. I kind of helped my teacher out a little bit. And it was a fun class. And I remember having to do an assignment. Sorry, opening my drawer here. We had to do an assignment that same year in my English class where we had to do a time capsule project. If you're familiar with that, I ended up doing this one. I just got it in the mail this year. So it was 5 years from now, per se. So, and of course, it's got my favorite people on there. It's got Fall Out Boy, Vampire Diaries, and Nightmare Before Christmas. And then it also has Glee, Fall Out Boy, Lady Gaga, and the Glee album on there. And I will cordially read it to you if you're interested in reading it. My life can't be described as mental pictures in my head, but in writing. My views on same-sex marriage are equal to me because I normally picture the world as a place between a man and a woman. But I think a little different than people would. Note, this was 5 years ago I wrote this, by the way. The use of the cell phone has become a substantial trend for teens these days. Texting is just ridiculous to me. One other thing that annoys me besides the use of texting is the way that girls dress. I mean, come on, it's not a fashion show at school here, people. Wear something that makes you feel good, not stupid. My main music I listen to is rock, pop, and a little hip-hop here and there. The bands, on the other hand, I like are Fall Out Boy, Green Day, My Chemical Romance, which I am bummed about their breakup, but they have a new re-release of Black Parade, so that makes me more excited. Panic at the Disco, and so many others. The singers that influenced me are Pink, because of her unique and rebellious style, Avril Lavigne, who doesn't love a pop princess with attitude, and Katy Perry shows how it's done with her sassy music, and shows it with Orlando Bloom. A person I look up to the most is my mom, because without her I wouldn't know how I was going to be. I'm just happy I turned out nice, not so mean like the other people I know around me. Now note, these next things did change a lot. The main things that interest me are shopping, music, movies, TV, and video games. Video games I like are Sonic and Guitar Hero and Just Dance. Those are primarily what I like. The shows I am completely in love with are The Vampire Diaries, True Blood, Modern Family, Wheel of Fortune, iCarly, which is no longer on the air, Phineas and Ferb, surprisingly. Chris Angel, Mind Freak, Family Guy, Robot Chicken. I blame my best friend for getting me hooked onto that one. CSI, Law and Order, and Glee. I no longer watched Glee. The main actor I love on The Vampire Diaries is Ian Somerhalder because his character, Damon Salvatore, is bad in The Lord. Oh, gosh, I'm so embarrassed to read this. He's one of those men you must keep your eye on. The favorite movies of mine are The Nightmare Before Christmas, 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, Night of the Living Dead, the black and white version. I saw that in my film class. It was a really cool movie. I remember being in film class and we had to, speak out our embarrassing moment. I remember my dad's cousin showing me these, the little red dot thing. The dot would decrease as you would click on the picture. That happened to me, and Linda Blair from The Exorcist came up at the end. I was terrified and nearly peed my pants. It was highly embarrassing. Watchmen, Interview with the Vampire, Harry Potter, Shrek, and many more. How can I leave out the sports? My main teams are the Washington Redskins, Chicago Bears, in honor of my favorite band, Fall Out Boy, New England Patriots, and Washington Nationals, Washington Capitals, Baltimore Orioles, and Baltimore Ravens. My first concert I attended was on my birthday, and I saw the Academy Is, We the Kings, Carolina Liar, and My Favorite Highway. Unfortunately, Academy Is, if you know, they're no longer a group. And then I went to the Believers Never Die tour in 2009 with my best friend. It was a very fun concert. With Fall Out Boy, Cobra Starship, All Time Low, 50 Cent, and Hey Monday. Graduation is ahead for me, but I'm unsure of what my plans will become. I have no intended plans just yet, but for my futures, I may attend a school with either music or fashion. I hope it comes out to play. In my life, I have done things that I am proud about, and that includes an accomplishment in the sport bowling when I got a turkey on a league I was on. My mom was crying that day. She was literally, bawling. I just got a turkey in, a bowling league I was on as a kid, and she was, literally bawling her eyes out. It was funny to me, but to see my mom happy just literally made my day. And even my grandpa was there too. Some actors and musicians I like are Adam Lambert, Daniel Radcliffe, Hugh Jackman, Chris Hemsworth, Ian Somerhalder, Alexander Skarsgård, Stephen Moyer, Jesse Eisenberg, Michael Cera. I went through a weird phase with Michael Cera where I was obsessed with his movies. Paul Wesley, Patrick Stone, Pete Wentz, Alex Gaskarth, and Jack Baccarat. If you're familiar with All Time Low, that's where they're from. William Beckett, Michael Guy Chislett, and Jake Gyllenhaal. Michael Guy Chislett was part of the Academy, and I almost met him at a concert. I almost did, and he's Australian, which is awesome. My favorite actresses and musicians are Scarlett Johansson, Megan Fox, Kate Beckinsale, Anne Hathaway, Hayley Williams, and Nina Dobrev. I don't know what it is about Nina Dobrev, but she is so friggin' pretty. It's not even remotely funny. And I attended a sports event with my dad. We went to a preseason game for the Washington Redskins against the Steelers. My team won, even though preseason doesn't really count. And there are 3 songs that show my personality: Born This Way by Lady Gaga, Loser Like Me from Glee, and I Don't Care by Fall Out Boy. The plans for my future may happen, but yet I define what I want to do with my life. And a lot of that has changed. I don't particularly watch Glee because the storyline fell a little flat after me. And the concerts were fun. I haven't been to a concert since that second one I just mentioned to you, and a lot has happened, and it was a fun letter for me to write. I enjoyed that. So now we're gonna go into, wow, I didn't realize how long this was. We're gonna go ahead and get into the big Q, which was, if you could pick one subject in school, what subject would that be? And for me, I personally would pick English because I love reading, and I discovered my love when I was in high school. I discovered my love of Edgar Allan Poe, and he, writes really dark stuff. But I really liked the way he spoke with such finesse and such beauty with his writing, especially, what's that one I can't think of? Oh, gosh, I can't remember which one it was. Annabelle Lee. That was the one I was thinking of. And, yeah, it's just, I just like English because I love reading. I remember watching The Princess Bride in my English class. It was pretty awesome, and I really enjoyed that. So that's pretty much everything for today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe down below. I will leave the big Q in the info box down below with all my other fun stuff too. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!